Hey, have any of you guys noticed how the Beastie Boys in the video Sabotage kind of look like coin dealers? I'm just saying. All right, so hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek today with a little bit of a Q&A session. And also just a reminder, I know these videos, sometimes you'll watch them in the middle of June, but for those of you who watch these videos as they come out, we are closed Christmas through New Year's every year. And this year, it means that our last day opens December 23rd. We'll be closed Christmas Eve, actually, and then we'll be back in action January 3rd. So we may go silent during that time period. You'll see us here on YouTube. We'll have some stuff running for you still, some videos. But in the shop, in the store, you know, if you buy something online, it might not get shipped out for a week or two. All right, on to the questions. J-Man, the Mint has been out of these for the past 2 years. I check every once in a while. He's referring to the sheets of currency, and I went to check out on the sheets of currency at the US Mint website. You know, I'm like, sold out, oh man. And then I look at all these other ones and I'm like, these aren't sold out. Look, they're not sold out. And then I see this little corner thing that says not available. What? Not available. They have just cut back on their product. So that may be why I've seen some sheets go up in value, or in price anyways, because you can't order many of those items new like you used to be able to. So that's really a shame. Jay, thanks for pointing that out. That's a nice little pointer. KS Coin says, great stuff, great stuff. Always been into coins. Picked up on banknotes 2 years ago, and wow, should I have started sooner? Thank you, sir, for your time and your good info. So this was a video about, obviously, paper notes, if you didn't figure that out yet. KS, thanks for the nice remarks there. Yeah, paper currency is a very, very untapped market. I mean, generally speaking, the number of coin guys that I know that also collect paper money, I don't know, 5%, 3%. And then there's guys who just collect paper money, so I'm not counting that. I'm just talking about the ones that kind of overlap. Because most of you, if you go to a coin show, you know how many guys collect coins. And the argument has always been made, I think accurately so, that if you just had a small percentage of coin collectors move into the paper market, you would see a pretty dramatic change in pricing. But I'm happy with the market staying kind of flat on things. I've never been a guy that thinks that the market has to go up and I have to buy things and they go up in value because of the hobby aspect, because it's actually very frustrating when the things you collect start going up in price. You know, and you've really been used to buying them at one price point, and then all of a sudden they're at a new price point, you're like, dang it, I don't want to buy them at that level. I want them cheap again, right? So there's this constant push and pull for collectors, because lots of collectors, they want their items that they want to buy to stay low, and the ones they already own to go up in value. It's like this, let's just say it's not a two-way street for most collectors. But currency offers a great area to collect. US currency is a very broad subject matter. And then you can get into World Bank notes, which is beyond my comprehension. What I mean by that is there is so much out there that I don't know, that I don't see. And you want to talk about bank notes, where on any given country you might have one or two notes known for certain issues. And then as long as there's enough collectors, whoever's got the deepest pockets on that stuff, you know, that's the kind of stuff that stories and romantic stories are made of, where guys find some banknote and they don't know what the heck it is, and then all of a sudden it sells an auction for several $1,000s or whatever, you know. So banknotes are lots of fun. Thanks for following along. All right, now this one, Joe Cletus. I'm going to go ahead and read this and see if I understand this correctly, and I'm going to just answer it how I understand it. Do you believe that there are any coins out there that can act as a vehicle for leverage on the spot price of gold and silver, opposed to holding just plain bullion? Okay, wasn't sure what that meant, but he goes on. Let's say, for example, that the price of silver for a few years from now is $50 an ounce. What would you believe the price would be for something like a 1921 Morgan graded MS64? Do you think the rate of return on something like that could outperform holding and selling regular bullion at the future spot price? Boom. Okay, great clarification, and just something for all of us to think about and hypothesize on. So he's saying, With silver currently in the low 20s, it'll cost you into the mid 20s by the time you get it out the door. Maybe it costs you into the mid upper 20s. Maybe it's $27 an ounce. Should I buy 1921 Morgan dollars and MS64 at whatever 80 bucks right now, or whatever the number is, or should I buy silver? Well, a couple things. I would buy the silver if we were just talking straight investment, because what you're saying is, of course, in his hypothetical, he's also gave me a time frame, so that's a little unfair. But he's saying 2 years from now. So in 2 years' time, but silver at 50, you will double your money roughly. Will MS64 1921 Morgan dollars go to 160? I find this to be not the case in my gut. I just don't think, of course, my crystal ball is, well, I have a crystal ball, but I can't use it because it's state licensed and I let my license run out. So that's just one of those things. So I would go with just the straight bullion if that's our hypothesis. Now he's asking about gold or silver opposed to the plain stuff. Okay, so if that's the case, if you want to have some coins that are different, now I'm going to change completely what you said here and go into the other market, which is the gold market, and say you can still find circulated $5 gold liberties for bullion prices. If it's just a VFXF coin, sometimes XFAU, sometimes you can find these from dealers at 5 or 10% over melt. And so then you're kind of playing in both markets. Of course, these coins are not rare coins. That's why they sell near the melt value. I have always liked, this is also very different than what you asked, $10 Indians. So $10 Indians that you can get close to the melt value, I feel is a good value, especially if they haven't been cleaned or polished, or their jewelry, or they're damaged. If you can get nice AU $10 Indians, and currently they melt for like $850 or something like that. If you can get those coins for that $900 price point, that to me is kind of a win. And of course, we're talking different price points from your $50 silver to your $900 coin here. But what I'm saying is, this is answering the first part of your question. I think 10 Indians do provide you a different leverage space. And here's what the 10 Indian provides. It provides the opposite of what anyone is talking about. No one's talking about the price of gold ever going down, or the price of silver ever going down, right? We've kind of hit this plateau where everyone assumes that the metals will be at where they are or higher in 5 or 10 years. And I understand that thinking completely. Also, $10 Indians, when gold was a third of the price that it is now, they were priced similar to where they are now, right? So they provide some type of blanket protection from dropping metal prices. Whereas if you bought just the gold, it would go down. Now, I didn't do the same thing with silver. Well, silver also, if it drops from 22 to 15, are your 1921 Morgans and MS64, are they as likely to drop by 30 or 40%? And so that's another question that I'm not tackling right now, and I can make another video about that. But you were asking about the hypothetical if they go up in value. And on your, by the way, on your Morgan dollars and 21, I kind of think that those could still come down from where they are. In my mind, the only reason those go up is if silver goes up. That's just like a whole nother world. I could talk forever apparently about that question. Thanks for the question, Joe. All right, from one Joe to the next, Joseph A says, Kennedy PCGS MS60, 68, 69 deep cameo proofs from the 1960s seem undervalued, had been for a while. I've never bought a sealed proof set and gotten a cameo. So what Joseph is talking about is, sometimes if you shop online, guys will sell original sealed proof sets. So this proof sets came in an envelope, and he's saying that it was never opened, or supposedly was never opened. And never, when he's bought one that was already sealed, was it a deep cameo. Now, deep cameos are, I think, very difficult to come by. Generally in the open, they're still not considered rare based on how many people collect them and what their demand level is. But I think it's very fair to say that deep cameo Kennedy halves and a lot of the coins from the 50s and 60s especially are tough to come by. And I think it's also fair to say that in the future, if that demand can increase in that very specific niche area, you can really see an increase in overall value for your investment, so to speak. All right. Frank says the 2016 gold mercury dime is not full bands. Mint oversight? Question mark. This I'm not aware of. I didn't really think about that. Mint oversight, probably not. They just probably carved it and engraved it a certain way for a certain look. They probably weren't thinking at all about whether or not to get that band all the way across. My understanding is they took a composite of original coin images and dies and photos and stuff and put it all together for everyone to look at. So I don't think that was necessarily an oversight, if you mean it that way. Now, was it an oversight versus like what you or I want to see? Well, probably. I mean, I didn't notice, but apparently, Frank, you did. So, I think that a lot of people probably saw the same thing you saw, which is to say, hey, U.S. Mint, what's the deal here? All right, last but not least, Numis Canada with Bruce, collecting the gold fractional U.S. types, the California gold fractionals, is kind of like the early French Canadian sou coins, which in English would be a penny. The various types of these un sou coins are determined by the number of leaves or berries on the leaves. This is really a fun one for me because I had never really made that connection. So the really small little fractional California gold coins, they're collected by die type, and the die types are very different. So sometimes though the differences are minor, so it'll literally be one extra leaf or two extra berries on the leaves, things of that nature. And the same thing's true of this colonial Canadian sou money, these pennies, these large cents that they have. That if you look at the guidebook for that Canadian material, you'll find that those are also collected that way, where it's by die type, and you'll find lots of different little varieties that have to do with leaves and berries. By the way, the early U.S. large cents are similar to that. If you go through the books on the early U.S. large cents, they're collected in largely the same fashion with a lot of different little minor varieties from one to the next. So anyways, guys, thanks so much today for joining me. Great questions. Keep them coming. I'll keep answering them. We'll keep having some fun and learn about coins together. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.